All right, I want to show you how to create an assignments and due date table like this for your students. It's very important to do this because students in online courses, they need to be made aware of how do these assignments tie into the course objectives. It's also a really good thing for accreditation. Accreditors look for this kind of thing and they expect it in every module now. It helps keep students on track as well if they can see everything that's due this week in one place. I try to begin with a paragraph, sometimes a video in this slot right here about what the week is going to be about, and then the objectives for the week and how they tie back to the course objectives, and then the assignments themselves and which objectives and when, how much points they are and when they're due. So here's how I do it. Okay, so I switched over to an empty module so I could show you how to make this work. And let's pretend that I've got a module full of content right here, and I want to add that the guide into the beginning of it for students to have. So I'm going to click on the plus sign, and I'm going to call it, it's going to be a content page and a new page, and I will call it objectives. How about week one objectives? And add that item. And here it is, unpublished. I'm going to put it first because I want it first in this module. Drag it up. And I'm going to click on the link here to edit it. And then edit right here. And so, oops. I'll put up here, here are the objectives for week one. And you can put your own introduction to the week or whatever you want to put in there and list them out. But this is the tool right here, the table tool, that creates the table that we want to use. So we want to insert a table that is, let's say, 4 columns by however many, maybe 3 to start out like this. And it's very easy to adjust and add columns in here. So I'm going to put in here, let's see, the first box I'll have assignments, and I'll fill out the rest. Okay, I filled it out, but I realized I want to have one more column on the right. That's pretty easy to do. You click on your table box, and this is going to be an additional column, right? Columns are up and down, so I want a column to come after. So I'll put that column after, and it creates another box. And now I can have a completed question mark, because this one really helps students. They can check off the assignments as they go through to make sure it's done. Now the same thing can be done if you want to add columns, or not columns, but rows below. You just highlight, you go to table, and you say row, insert row after, and it gives you another row underneath. Simple. All right, so we're ready to put in our assignments, and we could say like discussion 1, and it meets objectives, let's say 3, and it's going to be worth 20 points, and it's going to be due on Friday. And you can put in the due date or not, and you'll just leave the completed row blank, and you would do the same for the next row. So now that we have the table filled out, it's really important to make the table accessible. This is one of the reasons that tables sometimes are not used, is because they are not accessible to screen readers unless you take a few extra steps. So it's not hard to do. Here's what we'll do to make the table accessible. Make sure it's highlighted like that, like you see the boxes around it like that. And then we go under table here and table properties. And we're going to put in, we want, first of all, we want a border. This puts a border around all the boxes. Otherwise, the words inside the table would just float, and they wouldn't have the nice 1-point border around all the boxes. And we also want to add caption. So the caption, watch what happens right here in this zone when we say OK. It creates an extra space right here where we can put a caption for the table. And so we'll call this the week 1 objectives and due dates table. And that's something that the screen reader will read, that this is a table and this is what it does. And notice also it put this border around it, so we're looking good, right? We have another couple steps to go to make it fully accessible. And I want to highlight this row because the top row is my, oops, my header row that's going to tell the screen reader there what these columns are all about. Without that, then the screen reader can't tell, and it's reading to a person who can't see, and it's all floating all over the place. Information is a scramble. So I highlight that top row, which will be my header row. I go here, and now I'm going to say cell and cell properties, and I'm going to change the cell type to header. That's the header cell, and I also want the scope of this header cell to be the whole row. And so now, with that in place, this row across the top is going to be read as a header to the screen reader, and students will know when they're down here at quiz 1 that this is in the assignments column. Objectives 4 is going to be in the objectives column, right? Does that make sense? So it's very important to take that step when you use tables in your courses. And then the one last kind of frosting on the cake thing, if I can get it to work. Ugh, it's so hard to do this. Okay, I got it highlighted, is to change the color. So I want that row, let me see, cell properties here, under advanced, I think. Yeah, background color. I put in a color back there, and I'll show you how that works. So what I've done is I've gone online and I'm looking at what's called HTML color picker, or also known as hex code. And you can pick every color on the internet has a code that goes with it. So there's a kind of a light blue color that I think is kind of nice. That is, the number for that color is 3366FF, and you can look up just HTML color picker, and it will help you find these colors. And you put that in, and then, well, it didn't work it. I'm going to have to do that again. There. I think I left out cell properties, advanced, background color. I think I have, do I have to put in the hashtag? I think I do have to hash it. Oops. 3366FF. Let me try that. There, that did it. So I put in the hashtag. They have all these specific things. Hashtag 3366FF, and that gives me this color. Or you can pick any color that you like. Maybe a little bit lighter tint would be better. And now if I come and save this guy, save, let's save and publish. I think we're ready to roll with this. There I have my box. It is full of the objectives and the assignments, and it is accessible to screen readers, and it's ready to really help your students be successful, I think. So I hope you use this kind of thing for at the start of every module to help your students stay on track. Thanks.